Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with Alela, Artful Provocateur as our commander, as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from Throne of Eldraine. Alela was not released as part of the main Throne of Eldraine set, but as part of a commander expansion, and was the commander of a pre-constructed Brawl deck when Arena first introduced the format as a special event. Alela doesn't necessarily have an impact the turn you play her, unless you can play an artifact or enchantment alongside her. She is powerful because she creates fairy tokens just for playing spells, and buffs all our other flying creatures. So as long as Alela is in play, all those fairies have 2 power. I've often seen Alela played as part of a more controlling strategy, but I think that she's much better the more cards you play that synergize with her abilities rather than as an Esper control commander. For this reason, all but 2 of the non-land cards in our deck other than Alela are either artifacts or enchantments. I should note that although this video will be released after Pioneer Masters is on Arena, it was recorded before the release of Pioneer Masters, so that's why there are no cards from Pioneer Masters in the deck list. I've broken the deck up into categories, so let's look at them now. First, we have our mana acceleration. You could play more ramp artifacts, because they do synergize with our commander, but I wanted to make room for other effects that I felt worked even better with Alela. To start with, we have Arcane Signet, which is a must-have in almost every Brawl deck. We're also playing the new Inquisitive Glimmer from Duskmourn, which discounts our enchantment spells and is itself an enchantment to trigger Alela. One of the 2 non-land cards in the deck that is neither an artifact nor an enchantment is Starnheim Courser, because it discounts most of our artifact and enchantment spells. Our 3-mana ramp artifacts are File of Galadriel, which can draw us additional cards if we are empty-handed, or double our life gain if our life total is low. And finally, the Celestis, which provides card selection and life gain as it switches between day and night. Next, we have a few ways of protecting Alela. Elf's Seed of Life's Bounty, an enchantment creature, can be sacrificed to give another creature protection from a color. Skrelv Defector Might, who is also an artifact, can give another creature hexproof from a specific color. Finally, Kaya's Ghost Form returns the creature it enchants to the battlefield if that creature dies or is exiled. Our next category consists of removal. Case of the Gateway Express deals damage to an opposing creature equal to the number of creatures we control, and can become an anthem if we solve it. While the new Nowhere to Run from Duskmourn can be flashed in and removes hexproof, and ward on opposing creatures, Invasion of New Capenna lets us sacrifice an artifact or creature to exile an opposing non-land permanent, and transforms into Holy Frazzle Cannon, which puts +1/+1 counters on the team. At 3 mana, All of Vanishing Light, Borrowed Time, Seal from Existence, and Detention Sphere exile non-land permanents as long as they remain on the battlefield. Pull of the Mistmoon does the same thing, and can be kicked to turn another non-land permanent in our hand into a removal spell. The new Trapped in the Screen from Duskmourn is not as versatile as the other enchantments of this type, but has ward, making it difficult to interact with. Conclave Tribunal also exiles a non-land permanent while it remains in play, and can be cast for free if we tap 4 creatures to convoke it. The second non-land card in the deck that is not an artifact or enchantment is Crippling Fear, which can be one-sided board wipe for smaller creatures. We have another board wipe with the Meathook Massacre, which also pings the opponent when our creatures die. With all the fairy tokens Alela is creating with all the artifacts and enchantments we have, it makes anthems more powerful, and so we have quite a few in the deck. Paladin class makes it harder for the opponent to make plays at instant speed on our turn at 1st level, pumps the team at 2nd level, and turns an attacking creature into a lethal threat at 3rd level, while Intangible Virtue pumps our creature tokens and gives them vigilance. Invasion of Gobakhan provides some hand disruption, and transforms into Light Shield Array, which at the end of our turn puts +1/+1 counters on all of our creatures that have attacked, and can be sacrificed to protect the team. While Rally of the Ranks and Radiant Destiny can pump all our fairies. Flowering of the White Tree is an anthem that also helps protect our commander, while Favorable Winds is an anthem for flying creatures, which almost all of our creature spells and token creatures are. Path of Bravery pumps our creatures if our life total is high, and can gain us a lot of life each time we attack, while Wedding Announcement can make 1/1 human tokens or draw cards, and eventually transforms into an anthem. Glorious Anthem does what it says, while In the Trenches is an anthem that can also be a removal spell late in the game. Etchings of the Chosen pumps all our fairies and can be used to protect our commander or another key creature, while Dramatic Finale is an anthem for our creature tokens that creates Inkling tokens whenever a non-token creature we control dies, although this ability doesn't come up often. Cathar's Crusade puts +1/+1 counters on the team whenever a creature enters, including every time Alela makes a fairy, while Virtue of Loyalty creates a Knight token with its adventure, and once on the battlefield puts +1/+1 counters on the team and untaps them. Finally, Ethereal Absolution is an anthem that also debuffs the opponent's creatures and acts as graveyard hate, creating flying spirit tokens in the process. Next, we have a couple of enchantments that buff individual creatures. All That Glitters permanently makes a creature bigger for every artifact or enchantment we control, while Builder's Talent is a class enchantment that creates a wall token, then puts +1/+1 counters on our creatures when an artifact or enchantment enters, and finally lets us replay an artifact or enchantment from our graveyard. Our next category consists of cards with creature token synergies. Bitter Blossom makes a fairy token at the beginning of our upkeep every turn, while Anointed Procession doubles how many tokens we make. Rabble-Rousing makes a citizen token for each of our attacking creatures, and if we control enough creatures, lets us cast the spell Exiled with it with Hideaway for free. Divine Visitation turns every creature token we make into a 4/4 angel token with flying and vigilance, while Sigil of the Empty Throne makes an angel token every time we cast an enchantment spell. In our deck, Virtue of Knowledge is basically another Anointed Procession, as it doubles Alela's triggered ability whenever an artifact or enchantment enters under our control. Finally, the new Dollmaker's Shop and Porcelain Gallery from Duskmourn is a room enchantment, which when one half is unlocked, makes toy creature tokens when we attack with other creatures, and when the other half is unlocked, gives all our creatures base power and toughness equal to the number of creatures we control. Next, we have our card advantage engines. Search for Azcanta lets us surveil, and once we have enough cards in our graveyard, transforms into Azcanta, the Sunken Ruin, which can find non-creature spells from the top 4 cards of our library. Monk class provides a discount on the second spell we cast each turn, bounces a non-land permanent, and eventually exiles cards off the top of our library and lets us cast them if we cast another spell first. Lunar Convocation can ping the opponent, and creates bat tokens if we both gained and lost life on our turn, and we can enable this trigger by paying 2 life to draw a card with it. Takesia's Welcome draws a card whenever a cheap creature enters under our control, and importantly, triggers whenever we make creature tokens. Black Market Connections lets us either make treasure tokens, draw extra cards, or create shapeshifter tokens at the cost of life. Kamenia's Awakening draws both players an additional card at the beginning of our upkeep, but once we have the City's Blessing, which is easy to achieve in this deck, makes it so that only we draw the extra card. The new Enduring Curiosity from Duskmourn draws cards whenever our creatures hit the opponent, and can be flashed in. Also, when it dies, it returns to the battlefield as a non-creature enchantment. Arcanist's Owl finds an artifact or enchantment from the top 4 cards of our library, while Kindred Discovery can draw a card each time a fairy, or angel if Divine Visitation is in play, enters or attacks. We don't have any planeswalkers, so the Immortal Sun is a perfect fit, discounting our spells, buffing our creatures, and drawing us an additional card each turn. Finally, One with the Multiverse lets us play lands and cast spells off the top of our library, and lets us cast 1 spell for free on each of our turns. Our final category includes a few miscellaneous enchantments that don't fit anywhere else. Mirror Maid can enter as a copy of any enchantment or artifact on the battlefield, including the opponent's, while Extravagant Replication reprinted in Foundations, makes a token copy of any other non-land permanent we control during our upkeep. Finally, the new Grievous Wound from Duskmourn is like a curse, enchanting the opponent and making it so that they can't gain life and also lose half their life, rounded up, whenever they take damage, which means that the opponent is going to be reduced to 0 life in a hurry with all of our Faeries. Our mana base has several dual lands in our colors, most of which come into play untapped most of the time, including the new Flood Farm Verge and Gloomlake Verge from Duskmourn. We also have the Tri-land in our colors, Rafine's Tower, and Command Tower, a must-have in any multicolored Brawl deck. We're also playing one of each basic land to search up if needed. We are also playing the new Valgavoth's Lair from Duskmourn, which, although it enters tapped, has hexproof and is also an enchantment to trigger Alela. Our utility lands include Iganjo, Seat of the Empire, and Odawara, Soaring City for additional interaction, and Takenuma, Abandoned Mire for graveyard recursion, although we only have Alela and Stormheim Courser to get back with it. We also have Castle Ardenvale to make human tokens, and Minas Tirith, Castle Locthwain, and Arch of Araska to draw cards. Cave of the Frost Dragon is a creature land for control matchups, while Rivendell helps us set up our draws. We also have Reliquary Towers so that we don't ever have to discard to hand size, which is important if we have an Enduring Curiosity or Kindred Discovery in play, as well as Plaza of Heroes and Tyrite Sanctum to protect our commander. So that's our Alela deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games. On the play, free lands. I could try to look for ramp with my free mulligan, but I don't want to risk going down to 2 lands and then having to go to 6. So I think we'll keep this. Lead with tap land. Opponent leads with Llanowar Elves. There's Cheddarfang. Now, I could play Tokasia's Welcome, but I think I want to wait until after I play Alela. Because then when I play Tokasia's Welcome, well, it's on cast, so it won't trigger right away. So maybe it is Tokasia's Welcome then. And then we can play Alela next turn. Ivar the Pummeler. Opponent can activate Tyvar if they hit their land. Divine Visitation, you say? So they could activate Tyvar. It would still be a trade, But I think Alela is much more valuable. So I don't want to trade. Alright, Flood Farm Verge is handy, because now I can cast Divine Visitation and start pumping out angels. There's Black Market Connections. Opponent takes 4. Well, opponent can have a 1-mana trick, but I think we make them have it, because otherwise this is a pretty good trade for us. Oh, they made it indestructible, forgot about that ability. That's still fine. Alright. So... I have 6 mana, but I can't play all 3 spells. I could play Porcelain Gallery. Yeah, I'll keep Lunar Convocation. Alright, and that's enough for a concession. Yep. Opponent was going to take a big hit from Alela, and I was just going to start popping out huge angels. We'll take it. On we go. On the draw, facing Corvold. Corvold's one of my favorite commanders. And since he is from Eldraine, we'll be featuring a deck with Corvold as commander for sure. I've got plenty of removal, no ramp, and no black mana, but I don't need black until turn 4 for Alela, and I've got Temple of Enlightenment to help find black mana. So I think we keep this. And I think I'll wait until turn 2 to play Temple of Enlightenment. Alright, there's black mana. So we'll lead with Rivendell. Opponent plays Diamond Pickaxe. Shipwreck Marsh. So we're hitting our land drops, so I might scry if I see a land with Crippling Fear. I'm not sure how good that's going to be. I think I'm going to bottom that. Alright, opponent ramps with Chromatic Lantern. I'm kind of glad I bought him Crippling Fear. They haven't played small creatures. So I think we get rid of Chromatic Lantern. Detention Sphere can exile multiple permanents, although that's only going to be good against tokens. So we'll set them back on mana. And I'll play Bright Climb Pathway, or I'll play the Pathway on Grim Climb, the black, because we need double black for some of our spells. Such as Crippling Fear, which we sent to the bottom, admittedly. So Alela on 4, and then Cathar's Crusade on 5 will be pretty nice. I'm hoping to draw land for Ethereal Absolution. Opponent ramps with Invasion of Zendikar. Glorious Anthem. Opponent plays Corvold. Sacrifices land. It's 2 to equip Pickaxe, and they play and sacrifice Terramorphic Expanse to trigger Corvold again. That's pretty good. Alright, there's land 6 for Ethereal Absolution. So while the most efficient play would be Cathar's Crusade, I think I do need to answer Corvold here. So we'll banish Corvold. Now, opponent can replay Corvold with an untapped land, which they have. This time they sacrifice Invasion of Zendikar. Alright, Hengegate Pathway. I have a number of double white cards, so I think we'll play that on white. And then I can Detention Sphere, Corvold, and Glorious Anthem. Looks like opponents debating whether to leave Corvold exiled under Detention Sphere or put him back into the command zone. Possibly disconnected. Well, that's too bad. Anyway, we'll play Glorious Anthem. And then we can play Ethereal Absolution and tapped Godless Shrine next turn. Not quite enough for lethal. Alright, opponent has no play, so they disconnected. Or maybe they've given up. Alright, that's enough for our opponent. Okay, they'll take it. On we go. On the play, 3 lands. So we only need land 4 to play Alela. I might keep Rally the Ranks to play until after Alela. I think we do want to play Takesha's Welcome first, though. No turn 1 play, so we'll lead with Minas Tirith. And basically, we want to either draw lands or interaction. Opponent has Hardened Scales, there's land 4, that's great. So I think we do play a Shadowy Backstreet here rather than an untapped land, so that we can curve Takesha's Welcome into Alela. And then Bitter Blossom. Could be fine. Sure, it does work well with Takesha's Welcome. Opponent with Hardened Scales, so +1/+1 counter synergy. Emerald Medallion, a ramp. Kodama. Extravagant Replication, eh? Now, Kodama has Reach. There's Defiler of Vigor to start putting +1/+1 counters on their creatures. Detention Sphere. It would be more efficient to play double 2-drop, but I think we want to get rid of Defiler of Vigor here. Now, if we'd drawn a land, we would have been able to play a 2-drop. But we didn't. So hopefully we draw one next turn. There's Vorinclex. Vorinclex also has reach, important to note. No blocks. No land. I think we'll play Rally the Ranks. There's a land. Choose Fairy. And we already have City's Blessing for Arch of Orazka. So now I like Paladin class and all that glitters. And then Alela can attack, and that's enough for her opponent. Alright. There we go. We'll take it. On we go. On the play, no white mana is a bit of a concern. Although I've got until turn 4 to find it currently, since I don't have an early play. So I think we'll try it. Etchings of the Chosen. Opponent ramps with Wolfwillow Haven. There is white mana right on time. So I think I'll play Etchings of the Chosen to be mana efficient here, and then we can play Alela next turn. One more Tribe. Castle Lockthwain. One has a ton of mana. Railway Brawler. And Eladamri. Land 6 is good. Now, they could block with Railway Brawler, but I honestly don't mind that. Ramps with Solemn Simulacrum. That's pretty big. So the most efficient play would be one of my 6 drops, but I think I'd rather get down to Cage's Welcome All That Glitters. Surprised the opponent didn't block the 1/1. I'm virtually tapped out. Okay, so there's Ulamog. Who has Annihilator 23, by the way. So if opponent untaps with Ulamog, we lose. Alright, so this would have us taking 22. Opponent leaves back Brawler. I don't think we block. And then it's Ethereal Absolution. Attack all. Alright, so we definitely lucked out there that we were able to go wide and take opponent out before they did too much damage. So that was a lucky thing. Anyway, on we go. On the play, 3 lands, double black for the Meathook Massacre, which could be good if opponent is playing Prowess creatures to go with Narset there. Lots of removal. Case of the Gateway Express, of course, only really good after we've made some Faeries with Alela. I think we can keep this. And then I guess we'll get Temple of Silence out of the way here. Glorious Anthem would be nice, but I'm looking for land. So I can play Alela. Opponent leads with their own temple. There's Skrell. I guess I'll play Skrell. Could wait to play Skrell until after I play Alela, but it might be good to have Skrell available to protect Alela. There's Balmor. Didn't draw a land. Do I trap Balmor? I think I do. Alright, so Swole is out of action. Don't have Plains or Island to enable Flood Farm Verge, but we can still play Alela, so I think that's our play here. Alright, Temple of Enlightenment, don't mind land. Search for Azcanta seems pretty good to me, so I think we'll keep that. Can't play Dramatic Finale. There's Narset. Alright. We also have the city's blessing for Arch of Araska. Them having Shard Mage's Rescue is a bit annoying, but I think we're still in pretty decent shape. I can play Dramatic Finale. Could jump with the wall. Don't mind land. Or maybe I want to draw action. Yeah, I guess we'll bend the land here. Also, we want to fill the graveyard for Search for Azcanta. We'll play Dramatic Finale here. Okay. It is a little suspicious that opponent hasn't cast anything, so they could have... what's this called? Settler Wreckage? So I think we'll just attack with these 3 Faeries, because that will enable Case the Gateway Express. It'd slip out the back. Another protection spell for Narset. No blocks. We'll ditch the land. Good thing we keep ditching those lands because we keep drawing more lands. And opponent is dead here. Alright, well that worked out. On we go. On the draw, this will be a difficult matchup because Kambal, Profiting Mare, essentially neutralizes our deck's game plan. I don't have white mana, but I do have 3 lands, and I only need 1 white source for Trapped in the Screen and Alela, so I think we keep this. Black Market Connections. Sadly can't. I should have played Shipwreck Marsh on 1, actually. So I could have played Bitter Blossom. There's white mana. I think we'll wait to play Intangible Virtue until after Alela is in play. And then, if opponent plays Kambal, we'll use Trapped by the Screen on him. Kesa Opulent Oligarch. I will play Black Market Connections. There's Kambal, so I'm not making a treasure with Black Market Connections. I will draw a card. Kai's Ghost Form. Let's play Alela. So unfortunately, Trapped in the Screen will trigger Alela, which will trigger Kambal, so they'll get a token out of it, but not really anything I can do about that. I guess I could have played Trapped in the Screen first. Resplendent Angel. No blocks. Don't have double black for the Meat Hook Massacre. No attacks, I don't want to trade for Resplendent Angel. Now opponent can just replay Kambal is the problem. We've lost a lot of life, so Black Market Connections is not necessarily going to be very helpful here. Opponent plays Massacre Girl. Alright. So thanks to our Radiant Destiny and Intangible Virtue, our Faeries are pretty swole. And can make them even bigger within the trenches, although we're still missing double white for that. Still missing double black for Meathook Massacre. There's Shouldered. So we don't want to draw a card off Black Market Connections. There's double black and double white. I've enabled the city's blessing for Kamina's Awakening, but that's a terrible card to play with Shouldered. Opponent's down to 20. Lord Skitter's Blessing triggers because of Cathar's Call. Replays Kambal. Oh, we're just dead to Shieldred. Oops. Well, that was too bad. We just lost too much life initially, and then Bitter Blossom and Black Market Connections drained us. Had we survived, opponent would have had one blocker to our 4, 8, 13, 18, 22, 32, 37. So they would have, if they'd blocked one of our 5 powered flyers, they would have survived at 1 life. So, a little unfortunate at how things turned out. If we'd had some more interaction, I think we might have been able to get there. Like, if we'd been able to get rid of Shouldered, I think we would have been fine. But, unfortunately, Kambal, just a terrible matchup for a deck that's trying to create creature tokens. Okay, on the play, only 2 lands, but Undercity Sewers does Surveil to help me find land 3. And then Trapped in the Screen can exile enchantments, which will be important against Goshen Tie of Life's Origin. And then Ethereal Absolution kills all of the shrine tokens that the Goshen Tie makes. So we'll keep this. Alright, opponent has Leyline of Mutation. Alright, I'll take Arcane Signet. We might get rid of the ley line of mutation with the trapped in the screen here. And then land, untapped land lets me play Alela, which would be pretty helpful. It's a tap land. Opponent is pretty far from activating Leyline. I think we look for more lands. So I don't have to exile Leyline just yet. I can wait until after I play Alela, so I can trigger her ability to get a fairy. Alright, Chromatic Lantern. I could get rid of that. And they can activate Leyline of Mutation. So I think, unfortunately, we do have to play off curve and exile Chromatic Lantern here. I think denying them ramp is the best plan. And then I could play Rally the Ranks, but we'll wait until after we play Alela. What's a discard? I think it's Divine Visitation, and then we'll play Immortal Sun, so the extra card draw will help us against the Honjin there. Opponent's got removal for Alela. LC can go. Opponent casts Emergent Ultimatum off Leyline of Mutation. So maybe I should have exiled the Leyline of Mutation after all. I don't know why they didn't pick the third card. Alright, and then I can cast Ethereal Absolution and Path of Bravery. So emptying our hand is good here. Ethereal Absolution also nullifies Honjin of Lightless Web. Kneel the Inner Sun hits Birds of Paradise. And then we'll play Alela here. And then we'll copy Path of Bravery's trigger to get Virtue of Knowledge out of my hand. Alright. An opponent was dead to our flyers. Well, there we go. We beat the Shrines deck. Pretty happy with that. Anyway, so that's our Alela deck. And so you see how what our game plan is resolve Alela, then start popping down mostly enchantments to pump out fairy tokens and then use Anthem effects to make those fairies into huge threats. And that seems to work out pretty well. And we've got a nice mix of interaction, value cards, anthems, and a touch of ramp. So it all seems to come together pretty well, I think. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. If you'd like to see a different commander in a future Brawl video, let me know in the comments. Or let me know if there are any other enchantments I should be including in this deck. Hope you enjoyed. I think I already said that, but always worth saying again. Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye for now.